How often have you wondered in times of crisis, who will be here for me? Who will be here for me? Hi, I'm Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this is On the Wings of Your Mind. So how often have you wondered that? How often in times of crisis have you wondered who will be here for me? Who is here for me? Today we are living in a very complicated and complex world. Complicated because there's so many different rules to follow and there's nothing that seems simple anymore. And complex because even when you figure out the rules in front of you, there are so many unknown situations, too many interrelated factors to even try and figure out what rules and processes even apply. Hi, I'm Reverend Andrew Bozeman. It's no wonder. And this is On the Wings of Your Mind. It's no wonder that the so-called rules, following the so-called rules and trying to do the right thing, you still end up in hot water. It's a mess. We definitely look like we are in this all by ourselves. Please click on the thumbs up button below this video, and if you haven't already done so, please choose to subscribe. You know, I would love to hear your questions, your suggestions. Had a suggestion recently from one of the viewers who wanted me to put my prayer up when I say it, put it up on screen. So I'll be doing that later today at the end of this program. So your comments and thoughts are very welcome. Anyway, back to the subject at hand. Are we alone? Are we alone? Last night I watched a documentary on the life of the actor-comedian John Belushi. He had a legendary career in television and movies back in the 1970s. He died at the age of 33. The tragedy was, according to the letters he wrote during that period preceding his death, he was afraid that he was all alone in his life. That's in spite of the fact that he was surrounded by people who truly loved him, but he thought he was all alone. So the voice in my head urgently expressed to me that I need to let people know right away that they're not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone. We grow up in this three-dimensional physical reality, believing that the only things that are real are the things that we can see. I must admit that I find that really irritating. The people who are so vocal about that concept live in today's world where we're surrounded by things they can't see, but they accept them as real. They accept the reality of those things that they can't see because there are devices that can detect the things that are invisible to our eyes. Like this broadcast. The transmission of this broadcast is being sent out over the airwaves. You can't see it. The only way you can see it is if you have a device that is tuned in to see it. And the people around you can't see it unless they too have devices that are tuned in to see me broadcasting this. So let's throw out this whole argument of if you can't see it, it doesn't exist. Let's throw that out the window. It's BS. So what does that got to do with the question of the day? Who will be for me? Who will be there for me? Well, let me warn you. Do not get sucked into the lie that what you see is reality. The truth is that infinite intelligence is always with you, and you hardly ever see infinite intelligence, but it is always there, always there. Let me share a story with you. It's adapted from a story written in 1936 by a woman named Mary Stevenson. It goes like this. One night I dreamed I was walking along the beach and talking with infinite intelligence. Many scenes of my life flashed before my eyes, and in each scene I noticed footprints in the sand. Sometimes there were two sets of footprints. Other times there was only one. That bothered me. Because I noticed that during the low periods of my life, when I was suffering from anguish, sorrow, or defeat, I could see only one set of footprints. So I said to Infinite Intelligence, I was taught that you would be with me always, but I've noticed that during the most trying periods of my life, there has only been one set of footprints in the sand. Why, when I needed you the most, have you not been there for me? And Infinite Intelligence calmly, as always, replied, the times when you have seen only one set of footprints, my child, is when I carried you. The lesson here is that infinite intelligence is always with you, because infinite intelligence is all there is. Infinite intelligence is that consciousness, the consciousness that is within all things. Infinite intelligence creates physical reality. And if you tune your device into infinite intelligence, then infinite intelligence will make its presence known to you. What is your device? Your body, your mind, your heart, your spirit, your consciousness. Caroline Myss tells a story of a woman whose son who had hemophilia. Now, hemophilia is a disease of the blood, and what it is the blood does not clot within hemophiliacs. And so even the slightest cut can mean death because the blood does not stop flowing and they can bleed to death. So according to this story by Caroline Myss, this woman was in a restaurant with her son, and when it became time to leave, she got up and her son got up and slipped on the floor. He fell, and he cut his hand. He immediately started bleeding profusely, and she couldn't stop the bleeding. In desperation, she said, God, help me. Seconds later, a man knelt down beside her and told her not to worry, and he expertly put a tourniquet on the boy's arm to stop the blood flow and had someone call for an ambulance. When she saw that her little son was going to be okay, she turned to thank the man, but he was gone. And she asked the people around her, did you see where he went? And nobody noticed where he went. Nobody had seen him. He had simply vanished. Infinite intelligence creates physical reality, and if you tune in your device into infinite intelligence, then infinite intelligence will make its presence known to you. Last winter, I worked part-time at a gas station convenience store. It was near closing one night. It had been snowing all day, and the place was a mess because people were always tracking in the slush, the water, the mud, the dirt. And so it was near closing, it was kind of slow, so I mopped the floor of the whole place. I mopped it, cleaned it all up. And just as I finished mopping the floor, and was very proud of the work I'd done, by the way, this young man burst in through the door and started walking around in every aisle looking for something. And he tracked the entire floor, every place, all over. Then he bought a couple of things, and I cashed him out. And on his way out the door, I said, have a good night. And he turned to me and he says, you can't control that. Then he left. And I thought, that was a very strange answer. What was that about? And when I stepped from behind the counter to go get the mop so that I could again mop the floor that he had tracked up, there were no tracks on the floor. The floor was perfectly clean. It was as if nobody had walked on it since I mopped it. Clean, no tracks. And I thought about that. I says, okay, what's the message here? And I realized that he was an instrument of infinite intelligence, and he came to answer something I've been thinking about all night. I had been wondering if it was possible to have more control over my life through meditation and visualization, more control on what was going on around me. And the answer was, you can't control that. You can't control that. But what also infinite intelligence was telling me with that answer was, but I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you find the answers. I'm here to help you get through it. I am here always. So the answer to the question, who will be here for me, is that infinite intelligence is always here for you. All you have to do is tune in your device to infinite intelligence. What is your device? Your mind, your body, your spirit, your consciousness. You are a child of God. You are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. Turn off the beliefs that shut you off from the truth. Turn off those beliefs. Turn off the lies that tell you that if you can't see it, it doesn't exist. Turn that off. Turn it off. Infinite intelligence is always here, closer to you than breathing, nearer than hands and feet. Physical reality is only an effect. It's the end product of the reality that creates all things, infinite intelligence. So when you need a sign that infinite intelligence is here for you, ask for it. Get quiet, say a prayer, and then let go of your need to fix whatever situation you're in. Ask for it. The prayer can be as simple as, God, help me. The formula is simple. Ask. Then believe infinite intelligence is with you. And then let go. Remember, infinite intelligence is all there is. Infinite intelligence is all there is. Infinite intelligence is all there is. The stars, the planets, the trees, the flowers, the buildings, the furniture, you. Everything at its most basic level is made up of the consciousness of infinite intelligence. Everything at its most basic level is made up of the consciousness of infinite intelligence, so you are never, ever alone. No matter how it looks around you, you are never, ever alone. There was a story in the book by Sophie Burnham called A Book of Angels. She tells the story of a woman who was walking home at night. When she got to an area only a few blocks from her house, all the lights were out. And she got frightened walking through that area. And so she prayed for help and safety until she got home. And she did get home safely. A couple of days later, she was talking to someone who had seen her walking down the street that night. And that person was curious. The person wondered, who were those two men who were walking with you that night? You don't have to see it in order for it to be real. All you need to know is that it is. That infinite intelligence is always with you. Always. Always. Let's close with prayer. Thank you, infinite intelligence, for bringing us together in this life so that we may become spiritual warriors to join in the work we have come here to do. Thank you, infinite intelligence, for bringing us into this space of awareness and a deeper understanding of ourselves and our relationship to life and infinite intelligence. Thank you for showing us who we really are. We open our minds and hearts to the truth of our being. We are the children of God. We are individualized expressions of infinite intelligence. And because we are part of the greater whole, we are beginning to understand our value to the continuity of life on this planet. As we become channels of your power, infinite intelligence, we can feel your presence within ourselves and within our lives more and more. And we know that as we feel your presence within our lives every day, we will rise because we are no longer cut off from you by being immersed in the darkness of fear, anger, and the pain of unforgiveness. So we are now restoring our connection through the grace of forgiveness, knowing that as we learn to forgive ourselves for the pain we have caused to ourselves, and as we learn to forgive those who have inflicted pain upon us, our connections will grow stronger, and our lives will grow happier and healthier and more prosperous. And for this, we are truly grateful. So thank you. Thank you for watching. Please click on the thumbs up button below. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. I'd love it if you would subscribe. Remember, I would love to have your comments, your thoughts, your questions. Use the chat box or the comment section below. Thank you for watching. I am Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this has been On the Wings of Your Mind.